Well, I'm afraid I think we're having different sources of information. Let's start with the basics regarding this confrontation between Iran, Israel, and also with the late arrival of the United States. What is this all about? This is about destroying the enrichment program, the uranium enrichment program that Iran has been consistently conducting in violation of Non-Proliferation Treaty provisions. No country in the world that wants to have civilian nuclear power, which Iran would be entitled to have as a signatory to the Non-Proliferation Treaty, it certainly can have. Let me stress this. Iran, just like everybody else, can and should be able to have safely a civilian nuclear power program. However, 60% enrichment is consistent only with the military nuclear program. For a civilian program, you need 4-5%. Everybody knows this. I'm talking about what the Iranians have now. Okay? The Iranians now are at the threshold of being able to develop weapons-grade material in a matter of weeks, if they so choose, because they are at a threshold point. That's the problem. And this is Israel's justification for intervening to prevent this from happening. For what reason? Because Iran has declared, not once, not twice, but millions of times, that Israel should be destroyed. Well, if you are on the receiving end of these verbal attacks, and you know that the country that wants your destruction soon enough will have nuclear weapons, I would think you get worried. So let's keep this in context.
And also, with regards to enriched uranium at 60%, again, your guest shows his ignorance about international law. In accordance with the regulations of the IAEA and the NPT, Iran and any other country can enrich up to 99%, as long as it is not for military purposes. So that is his ignorance. Iran actually uses nuclear fuel at 3.67%. It needs it for electricity. It needs fuel at 20% for the experimental reactor in Tehran, which is used for medical purposes, for cancer patients. But this very experimental reactor in Tehran, and this is something that your guest should learn, he should study more, this used to use uranium enriched at well over 90%. This experimental reactor's fuel was not 20% in the past. It was reconfigured to 20%. So this sort of nonsense is just a justification for aggression and war and an unprovoked war and murder. But the Israeli regime has been defeated. And most importantly, now because the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is a Western-dominated organization, half the board of directors are Western, from Europe and North American governments, and with South Korea and Japan, they are the majority. The IAEA has lied, and after the war started, the head of the IAEA tried to fix things because he knew what he had done. He had given, through his lies and misleading information, justification for an attack.